Up, my podcast listeners? This is your host, Rafael Majaszewski, and this is another edition of Cut the Shit, Get Fit podcast thing. And I'm excited today because for the first time since Christmas, I am taking time off. I have been working so fucking hard nonstop since December of last year. And I feel like it's a well-deserved break. And the funny thing, people keep asking, oh, what are you going to do for 4 days off of work? And I'm like, I'm going to fucking sleep because I need it. It's funny how something like that, when I answer people, they're like, oh man, I am so jealous. I think everyone's had a rough go this year. And we just need some time. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also excited because Christmas is coming up. And no matter how shitty 2020 was or will become, can't stop the Christmas cheer, you guys. I know it's only November 4th, but fuck it. Love Christmas. Today's topic, I'm going to go old school, where I used to talk about weight loss all the fucking time. And I recently just put up a post about, pasta nutrition. And by the way, pasta or pasta, how do you say it? Let me know. And I had like a comparison chart of like whole wheat and white pasta and protein plus and rice pasta and some other stuff, right? And going into that post, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write all like the nutritional benefits of each one, blah blah. But I'm like, this is the issue of this diet culture that we have here, especially in the Western Hemisphere, where people are like, okay, I need to lose weight. I need to start measuring food, tracking grams of protein, grams of carbs. I can't have this much fat. I need to eat it. Like, there's so many restrictions, and people just assume, like, that's the way I'm supposed to eat and diet properly to see, like, success finally. And don't get me wrong, it does work, but it almost creates this, like, I would call it like an obsessive behavior towards eating, and I just can't get behind that, because the more you stress about what not to eat, or stress about if you had too much or a little less, or you're like stressing about how hungry you are because you decided to pick a calorie deficit that was way too big to begin with, because you want to like fast track this thing. Like, everyone falls into these things. Like, they go to the extreme, and not just like, what's the minimum dose that I need to have an effect? You know what I mean? Like, I always give that example. Like, you can boil water at 400 degrees, but you can also boil it at 100 degrees. It might just take longer, but you're going to get there, So that being said, like, this obsessive behavior becomes a stressful environment. And when it comes to long-term weight loss and successful weight loss, stress is like the enemy, the fucking kryptonite to your Superman. Like, it fucks up your shit pretty bad. And to make a long story short, if you go off the logic that, because everyone knows, like, oh, stress is bad. Stress causes the rise of cortisol levels. Cortisol will create fat, blah, blah, blah. Like, we all know this. We've all read this. We've all heard it. We've all seen the blogs. We all have seen the posts on Facebook you don't actually read, but you just, like, read the title of the article. And this compulsive behavior and stressful behavior of, like, oh, I need to restrict my calories, I need to eat this much, I can't eat that, I can't only eat this, I can blah, blah, blah. It almost sets you back even further, even though you've like switched on in a mental state that I'm going to be eating healthier and eating in a deficit to lose weight. you now have created a more stressful environment for your body to not really thrive on. Like, if you ask anyone, if I put you in a high stress situation every single day, will your body thrive? No. Like, it will not, like, at all. It will not thrive at all. And when I see people go down this rabbit hole, it's like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. And when I coach nutrition with my clients, they all come from this kind of background of nutrition that they know of. Like, it has to be so strict and rigorous and whatever. And people are just assuming that that's the right way. But really, it's just like small little changes go a long way. And number one, don't fucking stress about food. Like, food is there for you to enjoy. If you want to look like someone that's ready to go on a cover of a fucking fitness magazine, yes, it is going to be painful. Yes, you need to be so meticulous with every single gram of protein, carbs, and fat that you put in your body. You need to have adequate sleep. You need to have low stress. Like, it's an entire job within itself. So for the most part, I think everyone listening, unless you are a figure competitor or bodybuilder, it doesn't really matter if you're going to be following a diet to the gram. The overall goal is just to lose like 10 pounds. Losing 10 pounds doesn't mean that I'm going to have shredded abs, but sometimes that's what people think, is that wherever they are in their journey, if they lose like 10 to 20 pounds, they think they're going to be shredded. But really, to get to that shredded look requires a lot of sacrifice. Like, I mean, a lot. And if you are the average person that's a gym goer that's looking to get that shredded and you have a full-time job and kids, like, fuck, dude, come on. Like, let's be real. You got to be realistic with your goals. All right? That doesn't mean that you can never get there. It's just going to take you longer. And it's funny, like, because of COVID, a lot of people haven't seen me in a while. And when I've, crossed paths, they all said, like, oh, you've, like, changed. Like, did you lose weight? Like, it looks like you've changed. And honestly, I haven't really done anything other than I've switched up my training a little bit more, like my volume's a little bit higher than usual, and I've switched to eating 2 meals instead of 3, and that's it. And my body's actually changed because, like, I noticed it maybe 2 months ago when I posted a video doing a bird dog, and I was like, oh fuck, like my upper body got a lot bigger and like I just look more muscular. Like, I have more muscle mass than I did last year, right? And like, if you guys have been following me on Facebook and Instagram, I repost a lot of videos that I've had in the past and just update the context of it in the writing. And a lot of times I was like, wow, like my body's changed a lot. And the only things I changed is training frequency is up, I'm eating less, and drinking more beer. Like, and that's the funny thing is, like, people, when they notice that my body's changed because they haven't seen me in a while, they're like, oh, like, what are you doing? What's your secret? And I'm like, I eat 2 meals and I drink beer. Like, literally. Like, almost every day. That's, like, the biggest thing I changed. Did I hit, like, some sort of secret? No. I'm just more active, and that's created a deficit, probably. And I've been eating less, and that's also a deficit as well. And I probably eat more on the weekends so that I can sustain my muscle mass, maybe gain a little bit more. Like, am I tracking my food? Hell no. I haven't tracked my food probably for 3 years. And I remember when I went through that whole phase of tracking every single gram, like, it fucking sucked. Like, one time I was off my macros and my dinner was literally like 3 ounces of chicken breast and like a handful of broccoli. And that's all I could have. And I hated myself, like hated. And, it wasn't really worth it, right? If my job depended on me looking super lean and super ripped, then it's a whole different discussion. But for the most part, even myself, a trainer, like, I'm fit. I'm not shredded fit, but do I really need to be? Like, is my life going to be that much more fulfilling if I was shredded? Probably not, Like, it all comes down to goals. But when the general population that I work with starts stressing about every little detail about their food, then it becomes counterproductive of you achieving your goals, and that's like the last thing you want to see. So a lot of times is if you just kind of create a game plan, like say whatever you are doing for nutrition right now, and you know that, I could eat a little less, I can eat more vegetables, and I can probably eat more protein. Like, those three things are easy to do without meticulously tracking every single gram of food that goes into your mouth. So if you go off of that logic and start doing that as of today and just focus on that and enjoy life, you're probably going to hit all the goals that you're looking for. If you want them to go faster, that's where, you're going to have to push it a little bit more. And this, like, the exercise portion comes into play here too. And all you really need to do is, say if you're training 1 day a week, you go to 2. If you're going to 2 days a week already, go to 3. Like, do 3 strength workouts, go for 3 long walks, 3 jogs, 3 bike rides, 3 fucking hikes, like whatever it is. Like, do something active every day. Do a kin stretch workout with me if I ever post one online. Do a mobility, like, just move. Like, fitness and health is really simple. It's move more, eat less. Move every day. Like, move your body, eat good food, and not so much large quantities. Like, don't make it complicated. Like, going to the other side of the spectrum of where you're tracking every little thing and you're stressing about it is not going to make you a better human being. It's not going to make you better, right? There's more to life than just tracking food nonstop. And I think people tend to forget that. And when I have this conversation with some people that have been like all over the map with eating and have been trying every single crash diet you can think of, and I give them this advice and they look at me like, okay, but like, what do I actually have to do? And I'm like, this is not the point. This is not what you need to like focus on. Like, you need to just make it simple. Like, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, like, we've had really, really fit people. And a lot of it was just people just ate like a normal human being and not like an asshole. Like, if you eat a full dinner and you decide to eat a whole bag of chips after, there's some underlying issues that we need to deal with psychologically. If you're drinking beer like I am, but you don't just have 1 or 2, you're ending up drinking like a 6-pack all at one go, then we got some other underlying issues that we need to work through too, right? Like, people have been fit and healthy decades, if not a century before us, and it wasn't anything like special. It wasn't any secret diet. It wasn't any like, oh, if you go vegan, that's the answer. Oh, if you do intermittent fasting, that's the answer. Like, any diet out there is going to work. It's just, can you do it for the rest of your life? Is it going to fit your lifestyle? Is it going to make you happy within the situation that you're in? Like, these are all the big picture questions you need to ask yourself, I'm going to stop it there because I can ramble forever, but hit the show notes, add me on Facebook, add me on Instagram, give me a 5-star review on this podcast, on anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and thank you. You guys are amazing. Until next time.